on both for Afterthought to upset Complexity. But we'll have to find out. We have the game live on your screen.
We can confirm that both those losses, or both those overtimes, were losses against Rogue. So Complexity maybe feeling a little snake bitten coming into this series, and they have to immediately play for their tournament lives. Greasy Meister off the corner. First killer chasing, and Magnus takes him out of the play. Of course, a lot of drama in the offseason with Complexity. Probably not the first time you've heard it brought up today, as Flakes will put a shot on here. A team that did show a lot of promise through the rival series. Flakes putting on an absolute dazzling display. But at one point he was kicked off the team and then later on that same day reinstated. Everything seems to be fine now.
It's like when you're in an on and off relationship and you just talk to your girl and tell her that you don't like the way she smells one day, and next thing you know, she broke up with you, and then you guys get back probably later on in the day after you buy her some food. That's kind of that situation.
This coming from the master of breakups, so you know you can take his advice. All right. Here is Sathu trying to clear one out. Flakes for Magnus. First goal of the series, denied by Shock.
Good save from Shock down in front. Sathu, he's going to clear this off to the side. Afterthought playing this off of their own end, but Complexity need to be careful not to underestimate this team as the ball's in front. First killer, upper 90 corner. First goal going to go to Afterthought.
We saw first killer against Lotus earlier. He had one of very few goals, I believe the only goal that Afterthought scored in that series. He did against Lotus. He's got the first goal here against Complexity. And now Sathu trying to add to that lead. Shock runs into first killer. That has been a problem that has plagued Afterthought so far. Flakes will sky one up, but Sathu staying there. He missed the ball, but he cleans up his own mess. And now Greasy will give way to Magnus. So he did jump at that. He had to expend some resources just in case. Greasy twirling through. He's going to leave that ball for first killer, and it almost bit them again.
Gotta be careful here. You can see first killer. He's already got the first goal of the series on the board. Afterthought are no joke in terms of offensive ability, mechanical ability. You have Sathu, former RLCS player off of Space Station Gaming, who was just dropped at the end of last season during the offseason. He was replaced by Arsenal, who is on Space Station Gaming currently. But that being said, he definitely has that skill to be able to provide the kind of pace of game for his teammates to expect. So these guys, no slouches as this game gets on, but Complexity looking for a goal here.
The big question for Sathu is always going to be now, can he exercise his demons from Dallas? Because he had a nightmarish finish to DreamHack Dallas. Everybody remembers the miss in the corner that proved oh so costly. Shock. Gonna leave that one as he can't play it to the mid. Flakes, stopped by first killer. Greasy Meister has to stay back. He missed that ball, but it will end up with him in the corner. This will play out laterally for first killer. And Sathu just takes that one right from underneath Magnus. Chance now for Shock. Needs one more to center. He has! But first killer does not get there in time. Quality, very patient defense on the part of Complexity in the blue.
You know, Flakes himself personally is a very kind of safe defensive player, not trying to make any mistake that will cost his team a goal. Have to be careful though. Too much patience on your own half is dangerous. And we're looking at Afterthought trying to take a step in the right direction, looking for their second goal of the game, but not able to get it through.
Bounced out by Flakes, but Sathu was there. Decent first touch, but he has nothing to follow it up with. 30 seconds remain. Shock over another, but Magnus is there, and there's one last chance, one last gasp for Complexity. It has to start now. 15 on the clock. Magnus bullies his way through one. Greasymeister is up quickly. Shock needs this away, and that's a double commit defensively. Will it be costly? No. Sathu just skies one out. And Afterthought look like they're going to hang on to game one.
Afterthought will take game number one. And, man, all it took was one goal early on, but they were able to hold firm in that game. And Complexity just doing what they could, but it seemed like they were just very slow. Again, too patient. That's not the type of play style that Afterthought is going to play.
So Afterthought do take game one. Again, only goal coming from first killer. But it's a much better sign than what we saw earlier with Lotus getting one of, if not the first, one of very few wins in international competition for South America. We're working on confirming that now, but of course the advantage now to Afterthought, and the story is Afterthought against this Complexity team where they do come in as underdogs, but despite Sathu and Shock maybe thinking ahead to the Rival Series qualifiers and playing maybe a lot with Dapper, they're having a run here with First Killer.
They definitely screamed with First Killer leading up to the weeks prior to that. They will make sure that they gave him ample amount of attention because this major is important to them. It's also good practice for them going into the Rival Series when play day comes up next month. All of this works well for Afterthought. Complexity, though, you could probably argue that they're underperforming at this point.
It would not be a very difficult argument to make as they trail 1-0. No offense to be found. And not many opportunities on the offensive end either. It will be Sathu over to First Killer. They seem to have sorted out their double commit issues. That shot right at Greasy. Follow-up is saved as well. Complexity stand tall on their heads in their own net, but they get away unscathed.
Very good touch. In the midfield, Flakes. Talk a lot about him, just how well he is able to play, read the game mechanically. That being said, they have not been able to maintain offensive pressure for any decent amount of time to really force Afterthought on their own end. Credit to Afterthought. They've been good on the defensive end until now. A poor clear, and Magnus will clean it up.
Yeah, this is a great job by Flakes creating an opportunity. Shock is way off to the side. He expects that clear to go off to the corner so he can go chase it. As soon as it comes out straight ahead, he realizes, oops, we're in trouble. And indeed they were. Complexity have their first goal of the series. And now they're going to be looking for more, but they got to get out of their own end first. First Killer misses here. Shock just kind of pinned that against the wall in a desperate attempt to get downfield. It hasn't worked. Counter-attack from Complexity almost yields a goal. Well, that's good stuff out of Sathu. He gets around an attacker. First Killer whiffs there, and Flakes will bring this back into the zone. Trying to force his way through. Looking for a demo. Finding none. Here's Greasymeister. That'll bounce out way high. Magnus will not get a shot on, but he will find a teammate. And Complexity, very unselfish play here, not trying to do too much with the ball.
They saw Magnus earlier on. He was too far forward. Can he find a double Magnus? Holy! Great first goal from him. He catches this one in air and pushes it through for Complexity.
And that is great knowledge, knowing that that ball is going to be coming straight down. He's hit that shot thousands of times in his life probably, and he hits one there. Big second goal for Complexity. Sathu, as you just saw, took some corner boost out of the Complexity end. It's not going to matter. Flakes has plenty to work with. He's over one. He's by another as he got past First Killer. And Complexity are in business again. Sathu's missed. Nobody waiting on the weak side. So Afterthought gets away with it this time.
Some resistance from Complexity. Now Afterthought, doing what they can to clear this one away and trying to get back into this game. With 2 minutes and 23 seconds left, it's going to be a challenge based on how much momentum Complexity have moving down the field. You can tell they're comfortable by the challenges they're making. Very good double taps, exposing the lack of defense on the backboard for Afterthought.
First killer missed that, so he recovered. Shock thought he was dead in the water, so he came up. And the communication, it has broken down many times. Oh, but there is Sathu right on the doorstep.
Sathu has something to say here in this game. Shock, although he misses the ball, Greasy looking for that clear off to the side. Sathu reads and reacts perfectly to be able to dunk that one in. You have less than 2 minutes left in this game 2. And Afterthought still have some fight in them. They just have to clean things up and charge with the double commits.
First killer almost could have been great passed by the opposition, but the shot is saved away. Sathu can't follow this, but first killer can. He is up there in a blink of an eye. Shock shot is off the mark. This will roll back the other way, but Sathu is there.
Great defensive
And he's
positioning
there
by
for that
Sathu.
too.
Again, the positioning. He's there. He is there.
Yeah.
It's worked out well. Flakes got the flip reset, but that won't amount to too much. Complexity applying a lot of offensive pressure here. We're seeing it. They're keeping Afterthought in their box. Flakes playing it slow. Again, very smart. Looking for the upper 90. Will not find it. But this pass play should be what's clearing it out. They still have not able to get it out of their box yet. With a minute remaining, they only have a few more opportunities before this game is out of their control and Complexity will take a win.
Greasy Meister over to Flakes. Final minute. Do or die right here for Afterthought in game 2, trying to prevent Complexity from tying up the series. Greasy Meister. Another ball out, but that's actually going to help Sathu and Afterthought get downfield. Magnus now trying to put it up where Shock will have to spend some boost to play it, but he's got plenty to play with. Down to 18 seconds. Sathu trying to get out of his own zone. He was denied just a little bit, bumped on his way out. Down to 10. Greasy Meister. Sathu's going to have to play this, and he does not. Greasy Meister's allowed to play to the corner. A miss from Shock. Good night. Complexity will tie the series.
This one comes down to just lack of boost for Afterthought. Magnus gets a clear open net shot off of the miss, but Afterthought were choked in their own end for that last minute of just constant possession by Complexity. They stopped them from grabbing boost, which made it harder for them to clear the ball downfield. The rotations were really nice. No one was overextended, and they kept applying the pressure and locked down Afterthought and killed the clock. Even got a goal out of it as well. Complexity, very good, smart play here in game number 2. It pays off big. Series tied 1-1.
2 international matchups, actually 3 international matchups happening right now. Lotus and Bull Send are at least scheduled on the bracket. Right now on the main stage, it's TSM and Chiefs Esports Club. And right here we have Complexity trying to stay alive against Afterthought. Series tied 1-1. And could you imagine if we have a situation where both Complexity and TSM fail to make day 2, 2 of the more intriguing teams coming out of Europe into this major. Right now their backs are against the wall. They seem to be handling it okay for now, but things could be a lot better.
Definitely would be a surprise for me, mainly because of Complexity and TSM. When you hear those names on paper, you see in the rosters, you know the players. And for either of those teams to not make day 2, especially after the roster mania we've had from Europe, it seemed like TSM of all teams came out with a very good pickup with Alpha 54 in replace of iIgnite. Now possibly not making it to day 2. Of all things, day 2, and I say it in Afterthought almost striking first. They do strike first. The shot is good from Sathu. It'll be a save from Magnus, but it just goes to show you teams are catching up to each other.
For TSM, it would be the second consecutive DreamHack where they do not make day 2 after a runner-up finish in Dallas. But right now, all eyes are on Complexity and their effort to avoid falling to Afterthought, the North American closed qualifier from just a few months ago. Greasymeister going to throw one right towards Magnus. He'll launch it back in, and Shock should have this easily away. They're not really getting possession away from Complexity, even despite that demo. Finally, Shock will come in and take that ball away. One more touch needed to try and center this. First Killer's thrown it all the way across, and there will be no centering pass. Shock is not going to catch this either, and Flakes will score. They got caught pushing up just a little too far and could not get back in time.
It's what worked for them to get the ball downfield in the first place. They smothered the ball, made sure to get constant challenges in the midfield, winning constant challenges. But the problem you see there, one person a little too late, and then it's wide open. A great boomer from Flakes and good awareness by him to get Complexity. The first goal of Game 3.
Sathu now trying to put a shot in under the bar. It's gone over, and Greasymeister puts it netward, and First Killer will respawn and deal with it. Sathu to pop another one up. First Killer's going to try to get there, but he's got to recover. This is falling towards the net. But fortunately, the board got in the way, and this will be cleared away.
First Killer moving too far forward in the midfield. We saw that happen. They get boomed back. It turns into a double commit. Bad defensive plays there. Complexity probably even kicking themselves a bit that they don't get that pressure. They don't get that goal scored from that. End up giving up possession yet again. That might be a tale of things for Afterthought to be able to make such a large mistake and not get punished for it. Might help them as this game rages on.
Sathu trying to recover there. He could not. And here comes Complexity, leading by a goal in a tied-up series. Of course, this event being played in Canada. Hey, Trevor, it is now a best of 3. Halftime of Game 2 is still going to go 1-0 Complexity. But more pressure now from Afterthought. Even despite the demos, they are at least getting the ball back down to the blue half of the field.
Now they maintain good possession. It's about setting up offensive opportunities. So far, Complexity's defense is still strong just from the fact that you don't see Afterthought with a good shot. This is probably the closest chance that they've had. It drops in front. And just like that, Sathu wastes no time to tie this game up.
What a touch by First Killer here, too. That throws off the defense enough. Shock is able to throw that up off the ceiling. Drops down to Sathu. By that point, Complexity don't have a chance. And this game is all tied up. And a chance off the kickoff. Sathu, that will find its way towards the net. That is one area where, when Bread was in the rival series, before they became Space Station and all that, Sathu's teams had always kind of excelled on kickoffs. They almost got an opportunity there. Shock for Sathu again, looking far side, but only finding Magnus. Here comes Magnus. Needs one more touch, and he got it, but it wasn't enough to throw off the shot.
Questionable decision there from Flakes to steal the boost. They want to start holding Afterthought into their own end, so you do need to steal that boost. But at the same time, he gives up his position. Breezy's last man back, so he can't rotate in a challenge, and now it's that much harder to hold on to the possession. So that's a very risky play there. Doesn't work out, they'll have to try again.
Oh, that's going to find its way to Greasymeister. Sathu's got to climb up, and he does, just ahead of Magnus. Everything all tied up. Ones were wild on the scoreboard just a moment ago. Greasymeister misses there. Sathu, he's got it in front, but Magnus floats it away, and Flakes will finish off the defensive effort. Here is Shock, though, very quickly up for this. Sathu as well. It's still going towards the net, and cleared away to the corner.
Look at how they just stay on top of the ball, constantly making a challenge. This being said, look at Complexity. They move the ball downfield so quickly with these aerial clears that it puts Afterthought in a tough spot. It's like one is an aggressive offensive force that stays on top of the ball, but the other is looking for that counterattack. They're looking to see when is Afterthought going to move too far forward so we can get this easy goal downfield from a clear.
Edge of your seat stuff anytime you see Flakes on the ball and a chance to move downfield. He's going to be lurking here, waiting for Magnus's pass. Flakes will put it up there, and Shock clears only as far as Greasy. Who's coming on? It is... Oh, Flakes was there, but Sathu got rid of it. 3 seconds remain. First killer now. He's going to try to play hero, but he can't keep this ball in the air.
Overtime here. Whoever wins this one will take the lead in the series and put the other on match point. Both teams fighting for survival here in the losers match, but I can't say it's going one way or the other. Right now, Afterthought, lots of pressure, great offense. Complexity, able to make very good plays off of transition. Either side, it's whoever gives up first on defense.
Oh, it is going Complexity's way, but first killer, cool as you like, able to recover and send this away. Under a lot of pressure right now are Afterthought. Sathu with a good challenge. First killer beaten by Magnus, though. That's not great from Shock. Flake to win it, and it's saved by Sathu. How much have we talked about Sathu's defense in this series? He comes up big again.
He's going to come up two to knock out that one from Greasy. Flakes gets bumped on the plate, so there's no initial follow-up, but Shock, he's too slow. He doesn't get to the ball in time. Complexity still maintain possession here.
That's loose in front. Great challenge out of the corner. This time, first killer. Yes, he can play defense. Flakes again, trying to go through, and first killer stops that too.
Look at Afterthought on defense, though. Not able to kick this ball out, not able to make clears effectively. They're all bunched up. They only have gotten this ball to the midfield line. Finally, first, we'll put this on the offensive end for them.
It's like watching mouse sports on the offensive end. Something's got to give eventually, and Flakes almost caught up to that one. That is out in front, and it was Sathu again who had to bail out Afterthought after a poor clear. Magnus intercepted, but it falls to Flakes. It will not drop straight down. It is instead cleared. First killer is there, and he almost scored. Sathu didn't get anything on the shot. Here comes Complexity, and first killer disrupts the counter.
First killer disrupting is going to be a big deal as this one goes on. Watch out for Greasy in the air. First is able to make the save. He's the only odd man out here for Afterthought, and he might be key to throwing off Complexity's defense. But that being said, you gotta stop Flakes in the air. That's too much room. Look at Complexity. They're just shooting around Afterthought. Afterthought are desperation mode, trying to save this ball in overtime.
50, 40, 30, 20, and he almost scored with a half tank of boost. Flakes almost ended this with the highlight of the series. Now Flakes again out front. First killer coming on. Oh, what a win. But he doesn't have anything to work with. Flakes coming on. I think he sensed it. And he's able to take that ball away. Can he win it here? No, and Shock sweeps it away.
Incredible read from Shock, too. He has to pre-jump the ball before it hits off the back wall. And this is just letting you know how much pressure Complexity's putting on and just how fast Afterthought are moving to this. Shock a little bit too slow to the ball. Magnus has the lead. They're playing out of their minds right now, Stacks, in order to stay alive in this overtime.
That's popped out. Shock with a chance. Greasy Meister stops it. Rare opportunity now for Afterthought, and first killer could not get that ball on his car. Here's Flakes over one. Does he have another? He dunked it through, and first killer recovers.
First killer, great save on the goal line here. 3 minutes and 32 seconds into overtime. Afterthought have been put on their goal line time and time again. The pressure from Complexity, the shots, the positioning on the ball, so good. But Afterthought are a wall, stopping them at every moment. There's a misplay, a shot, and Greasy Meister is gonna win game 3 in OT for Complexity.
This is a catastrophe. First killer, Sathu's coming out. First killer plays it. He wants to dribble, but he runs into Sathu. And as a result, I mean, that's got to be Sathu's ball, right? You never bring the ball out to the center. Oh, my goodness.
There has to be a communication there. Shock, 7 saves. First, 6. Sathu, 5. Everything was on point, but it takes that one mistake. First killer, it looks like he got just a little bit too greedy on the ball. and he thought maybe he could dribble it around the net, throw it off. He might have saw something that Sathu didn't see, but regardless, that has to be communicated because that bump is what cost them this game, and depending on that momentum shift in this loss, it could just impact the rest of the series.
That is heartbreaking for Afterthought, but let's face it, Complexity probably should have won that game 5 other times at least in that overtime alone. They were on the doorstep the entire overtime outside of a stretch of maybe 30 to 45 seconds where Afterthought got 1 or 2 shots on. That was a dominant overtime. It does finally go Complexity's way, and now they look ahead to Game 4 and a chance to finish the job and get away from day 1.
Day 1 is not going well for Complexity. They've had to play some very tough matchups, and this one is nothing short of tough. Maybe they knocked the win out of Afterthought. Maybe they don't have anything left in the tank. We'll have to find out. This first kickoff, though, is looking very spicy as everyone is all in the air for this. The speed has continued to accelerate, but the mistakes are there. Flakes will get a goal off of a redirect. I believe that was my first killer.
Yeah, first killer's there. This shot is on the whole way, and he just came too far away from that near post, and boy, was it costly. Complexity scored 9 seconds into a clinching opportunity. Magnus out of the corner. Flakes is there, but so is Shock. This is sent away. He is going to bank that on target, actually, and Greasymeister will have the clear. Follow-up from Sathu. That's sent away. First killer now, waiting for Flakes, and Flakes is just waiting for a challenge. He has found none. First killer barely saved it away this time.
Barely being able to get the save in, but they've barely been staying alive so far. They're down by 1, though bad start here for Afterthought. They're going to have to pick things up.
First killer out for Sathu. That ball's found its way through. It is still in the zone. Shock doesn't have a play, and Afterthought are sent back. Shock is going to have a look. Can't get a touch. So the lead remains for Complexity after the first minute. It's been a great start for them, but here's Sathu with a blistering shot that probably shook the post, and first killer scores on the other side.
What a touch here from Sathu to want to get it past Breezy Magnus. He has to turn around. His head is on a swivel as much as it's spinning. And first killer sees an opportunity. That's big because you want to get him back into the game as fast as possible. Afterthought, tie it up.
Greasymeister, bank shot, looking for the middle pocket, but it is sent away. Here's Flakes again. You do not want to see him with the ball if you're Afterthought. Greasymeister has to let this go. Flakes at the back makes a save, and he will also clear this away.
First killer hits that into the corner. He's looking for a double tap to himself, but it does get cleared out. Breezy will put a shot on. He's going to look for another one, a slow roller. First killer with a great save. Afterthought seeming a little bit more comfortable. First going with a slow roller, and Sathu will pick this one up in the midfield. He'll get demo for it.
Oh, first killer's got to get to this. That was almost centered in the defensive end. That one is centered, and Flakes will drive it home.
Critical offensive play. Right there, you see Sathu have to dodge a demo after immediately respawning. First killer caught backwards again. Shock diving at the ball, but he's way too late on that one. And Complexity, what a set play from them. It works out well. They do retain the lead. Sathu looking for a kickoff goal, but Magnus is quick to it.
Dropping down, first killer almost found it. Nobody scores. The wall is set up. I mean, there were 4 cars there. Just impossible. Now Greasymeister with another clear. And first killer, all he can do is try to slow it down after a missed opportunity.
You gotta wonder how much steam is in the tank for Afterthought. So many opportunities for them that they just aren't necessarily converting on. And even when they do, Complexity strike back. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in this game 4. Afterthought needs to score to try to force an OT. Otherwise, their tournament run ends here.
2-1, but not for lack of effort. A lot of high-quality scoring chances. That one was another. But now it's sent all the way back to first killer, who's not able to clear the zone. This is trouble that Sathu has to deal with, and he does so calmly. Another touch needed by Shock. He doesn't have it. Flakes does against first killer. That ball's still forced through. And Shock and Sathu kind of had the same idea. First killer will get this away. And Afterthought, as we said before, they will get away with one again.
Look at Complexity moving the ball in the midfield, though. Sathu was the only one to challenge out in front. Then Shock and first killer both sat in net waiting for Magnus to move that ball downfield instead of getting in front of him. Magnus was perfectly fine with wasting the time. I say that, though, and the ball's in front. Sathu and Shock both missing in front of the net. 1 minute and 10 seconds left, and they cannot buy a goal to get back into this one.
With how the camera had to be whipping around there, that is an impressive stop by Greasy Meister with everything going on around him. 1 minute remains. First killer trying to get a demo. He did not get it, but Flakes has this ball and a full tank of boost to at least get halfway downfield. That's all he needed. But now they got to get back. That's off the bar, down and away. Sathu denied by Flakes again. Right at the line, and they cannot force it through. Sathu will try again. This time he leaves it, and Magnus does not fall for the bait.
Oh, they end up faking out Afterthought there. The challenge, no one comes through. 20 seconds left. Ball cleared downfield. They only have one goal of this match.
They do, but it's a pretty good look. First killer can't get the shot off. 10 seconds remain. Full tank for Sathu. Bombing it straight down the middle. Greasy will get rid of this. First killer. Got a teammate in front, and it's bounced away. They got to keep this in the air and go the length of the field. Magnus says absolutely not. And Complexity survived day one.
Survived day one, I would say by the skin of their teeth, but we didn't go into a game 5. That being said, Afterthought roster left it all out there to play. First killer shot, Sathu, great efforts from them. Just could not find the back of the net. I mean, we're talking about 4